If you're trying to figure out how to make bigger profits while day trading penny stocks, this is the video you don't want to miss, and here's why. In this video, I'm going to break down the step-by-step tactic that I'm using to make big profits, dramatically improve my risk-reward ratio, and get better order fills and eliminate slippage. And this always works. Check it out. This trade right here is a great example. This single trade paid me about $2,100 in just a few minutes. Okay, so let me walk you through the steps for this market order trading tactic using some recent trades that I did over the course of this month. This stock set up several times, so I traded it multiple days. The first day that I traded it was May 3rd. This stock popped up on my scanner May 3rd at around 10:30 in the morning my time. I really didn't see any news for the move that it was making, but even if there is no news, a move like this means something is cooking. Maybe it's insider buying. Maybe it's institutional accumulation. I don't know. But for some reason at this point, even though I don't know why it's moving, all I know is something is cooking. And usually when something is cooking, we'll see future days for this stock to make really good moves on heavy buyer volume. And I always want to be in on that when that happens, because that's where the money is made. So there are basically 3 steps to this special market order tactic. Okay. Step 1 is you've got to draw smart money targets. Okay. And maybe you don't know how to do this. You probably don't. Very few people actually know how to draw these smart money targets, but it's something that I work with my mentoring clients every day in and a day out. Generally, I will post these targets for them in my trade plan room for them, so they don't even have to draw them. But I do teach them how to do it so that they can be independent and get these on there themselves. So when I see a stock hit my momentum scanner and kind of run like this, the first thing that I do after doing a snapshot analysis on the stock is I draw some smart money targets, okay? So I went ahead and drew some target lines for this, and I just kind of put it on my back burner charts, and I waited for the volume to pour in because initially there wasn't very much volume. I couldn't really trade on it. So if you don't know how to draw these dead-on accurate target lines, go ahead and consider joining my mentoring program, because not only do I teach you how to draw these accurately like this, but you also get access to my trade plan room where I go ahead and post these target lines for my mentoring clients, and I also post a trade plan for them way in advance of these big profit moves so that they can be ready and have the heads up early before anyone, right? Anyway, I drew these target lines and posted them in my trade plan room, and in this case, I could see that there was plenty of room for where price was when I first started to watch it to the next target line. There was plenty of room, plenty of profit to be made. So that means it's not only worth watching and waiting for the right setup to appear, because I don't chase. There's no point in chasing. Setups will appear, but it also means that I'm going to make a really good payday out of this stock when I see the right signal. So again, don't chase, just wait for it to set up and bring you the trade. Step 2 is the pattern. So basically, I like to look for a specific pattern to develop. And at this point, I was just waiting for the volume to pour in and for the setup and the signal, okay? And the setup started to develop here in this pullback. Again, if you're unfamiliar with my trading style, this exact setup happens to be my favorite one, all right? And it's something that I focus on with my mentoring clients every single day in the trade room. We love to see this particular setup because we know when we see it, we're going to be making a lot of money as long as we see our trigger. So that takes us to step 3, which is the trigger. And the trigger for this is a simple little candle here. This little candle here that formed at 11:27 my time. And that's our buying candle where we immediately place our market order. And so why do I do the market order? Well, there's several reasons, right? First, we know we're getting a really great price. This little trigger is a tiny candle, meaning there's very little volatility. We're not going to have any slippage whatsoever. It just guarantees we're getting a really good price. Even if it's not at the start of a trend, like maybe it's happening mid-trend, we know that the risk level is extremely low. This little doji or nut candle that I sometimes call it, this doji is our clue. And the other reason, we know we have ample room to our target. So you have a very low volatility candle, a low risk candle, a lot of room to the target, everything's pointing up, and we know we're not buying at a top here. Why do we know that? Because we know our smart money target is way up here. So there's a couple of reasons to support the final reason why we use a market order is because when we have this particular setup where we know there's a big reward with hardly any risk, we want to make sure that our full order is fully filled. meaning I don't want a partial fill on my share size order, right? I want all of my order executed fully. I don't want a partial order. And you're going to get a partial order fill when you're using a limit order. Like if you're putting in an order for 3,000 shares, you'll probably only get maybe 500 shares at best filled. And so you're not going to make as much money as you could if you're using a market order, which is going to fill all of your order fast. So when I see this setup, I always want a full order fill, and the market order is the only way that will happen. The risk is very low, the reward is very high, so I want to fill my order fully. No messing around here. Now, if I had missed that signal, I still could have put another market order in over here where price touched off on this yellow line. That's another very high probability, low risk setup right here. So that's another one I like to look for if I happen to miss the initial one. There's still a whole lot of range to my target. Plenty of room, plenty of profit to be made. This thing is still trending up, so yeah, you better believe if I missed it over here, I'm going to get in on this. And that makes a very good time to get a market order entry in. Volume was still good. You can pretty much order as many shares as you want and head for your target, no worries. And that's the thing. These extremely accurate smart money targets are the exact same levels the smart money, the institutions, the banks, the computer traders, the algorithms. That's why they're so accurate, and that's why using market orders this way is the smart thing to do. It will make you more money than if you're using limit orders, okay? You're buying at the absolute best price based on price action. You know exactly where price is going to go and then turn, okay? And see how this worked out? See how accurate my targets are? So the key is you absolutely need to use these smart money targets. That's the first thing. And you need to use market orders at the smart money signal, okay? Okay, so let's look at another example. And this will work with any stock. It'll work with swing trades. It will work with long-term investing as well. But I'll just go ahead and stick with this particular stock because I traded it several times this month. So since I have it open on my chart, we'll just stick with it, okay? The next day that I traded it was May 9th, and this was about a week after that first day. And the steps are the same. There's still no real news headline out for this, but it's making the moves, so the process is the same. Step one is drawing your targets, right? I checked the previous move from the other day because chances are this will want to attempt a gap fill to those levels. So I added some more targets based on that move. Okay, so that's step one is the target. Step two is the pattern, right? You got to identify the pattern. In this gap up move, this is what put it on my scanner. So this is what I based my trade plan on. And I posted my trade plan in my trade plan room for my mentoring clients. And just as I expected, it started to form my favorite setup. So I drew my trend line based on the price action and then just waited for the signal above this line. And the signal came in at around 10:57 my time. I got this little doji, or nut that I sometimes call it, followed by a buyer candle, which is my trigger. So that takes me to step three, which is the trigger. Again, whenever I get this setup combined with the trigger where there is ample room to a target, I will put a market order in every single time that I see this. In this case, my order filled at about $4.68, and I got the full order filled because it was a market order. No messing around with limit orders, right? So I filled at $4.68 and my target line was $5.67. So I knew in advance that I was going to make about $1 a share on this trade. Trading 3,000 shares, I'm making $3,000, and I got all of my shares filled easily, and I sold into strength right at my target line. And so again, using a market order, you get all your shares filled. You get a really good price if you're selling based on targets rather than these little signals to sell, because you're selling into strength here on a market order, meaning buyers are pouring in and you're selling to buyers. And so you're going to get a really good fill. A better fill than if you're waiting for a sell signal. So I took another trade on it the same day using the continuation pattern, which basically a continuation pattern is just buying at major support levels and going to the next target line. I'm not going to go into that in detail in this video, but that's basically the strategy. So for this, I still use the doji candle signal as my trigger. This trade here paid me about 70 cents a share, so I made about $2,100. Not bad. I traded this stock another day, a couple days later on May 11th. That's when it started to move again. And this stock just kept creating these little gap fill opportunities each day, it seemed like. So it would run up and then sell down. It would run up and then sell down. And it was obvious to me that traders were buying up those dips with a clear target in mind. So that's another opportunity for a day trade if you see something like that happening. Even if there's no news, for some reason, traders were buying the dips on this one right at major support. So again, here we are, May 11th. And because I had been trading this stock several times already this month, I kept it on my back burner charts. And when it hits my momentum scanner, I come back here to see, how is it holding levels? How is the volume? And if there's any room to the next target. So at 7:30 on May 11th, my time, it made this little run up. I didn't trade this move here because I missed it, but it did catch my attention finally later on and gave me a chance to post a fresh trade plan for it. So it popped up and then dropped below VWAP, and my plan was to buy as it proved the VWAP and then take it to this target here. So target is identified right here. The pattern is identified as continuation, and the trigger is a bullish doji above VWAP. That's where I'm going to buy using a market order. And in this case, I made about 70 cents a share again, and it only took 10 minutes. And that's all there is to this 3-step market order tactic for making more money day trading penny stocks using market orders. If you like this video and you want to make more money as a day trader, hit that like button, click the subscribe to this channel, and ring that notification bell so that you get the heads up every time I post a new and highly educational video. And if you learned something valuable in this video, be sure and watch this next one. It will help you take your trading to the next level where you want it to go. My name is Susie Phillips, and I'll see you in the next video.